Welcome back to Blacktide TV. Today we're doing something that you may or may not have heard of before. It's actually role-playing, class role-playing in Call of Duty games. So it's kind of an older thing. I remember a lot of people did it back in like Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 days when the guns were a little bit more realistic and not so futuristic or crazy. And basically what it is relating stuff in the game to real life people or other fictional people, like people in TV shows or uh, or people in books or something like that, where you can actually relate a lot of the stuff so that you can make a character and play like a character that's actually from something else. So with the newest DLC for Advanced Warfare, Call of Duty has given us that the ability to do that with the map Kremlin. What I'm referring to is Tom Clancy's Cardinal of the Kremlin book. That's a Jack Ryan novel. If you haven't heard of it, I definitely suggest you check it out. It's really good book. There's actually quite a few in that series. That's his Jack Ryan series. If you haven't heard of them, you've probably been living under a rock, because that's all like a Clear and Present Danger, Hunt for Red October, all the Tom Clancy stuff. If you haven't heard of Tom Clancy, you've definitely been living under a rock. He makes, even if you're not a book guy, then or a movie guy, he makes all the games. He makes like it's all based off of his stuff. Like Ghost Recon is based off of him. Rainbow Six Vegas is based off of his stuff. So that's all kind of his stuff. And today we're talking about Cardinal of the Kremlin, which is a Jack Ryan novel. Jack Ryan is kind of like a covert ops kind of dude, and he infiltrates places and whatever. He's kind of like James Bond, but Jack Ryan. So in one of the novels is Cardinal of the Kremlin, and of course we've got the map Kremlin now. So I decided to do some role-playing classes of first the Kremlin Guard, and obviously Jack Ryan is going to be next, but that's not going to be in this video. That's going to be a different video. So let's jump right into the Kremlin Guard. So this guy is just going to be a regular Joe Blow guard, just in Russia at the Kremlin, just kind of walking around and just making sure that everything's cool around the place. So he's just going to be the foot soldier. So he's not going to have anything fancy. He's not going to have anything really special. He's just going to be like regular guy, just on guard duty. So we're going to start off with the AK-12. It's really the only option for a weapon. It's the only Kalashnikov variant of any kind of weapon in this game. So it's definitely the only one that you can really choose for a Russian guard. If you do have the SVO, it's a new legendary weapon or something. If you do have that weapon, then that one would be a usable one as well, because it's also a Kalashnikov weapon. So you could use the AK or that one. For this class, I do not have the SVO, obviously, so I'm going to use the AK-12. Now, for my attachments, I put on a grenade launcher, just because in all pop culture, pretty much anywhere you see an AK in a movie, in a show, in a book, it usually has a grenade launcher, because the grenade launcher is just a common attachment for the AK. AK-12, AK-47, whatever, it usually has a grenade launcher. Secondly, I put on a dual mag, because this guy's not going to have anything fancy. He's not going to have suppressors. He's not going to have fancy thermal sights or anything like that. He's just a regular guard, just stand and watch. But I think any Joe Blow could really make up this attachment. Dual magazines, it's duct tape, two magazines together, bam, you got a dual magazine. It's not that tricky to make one. So I figured that our guy is going to be smart enough that he would have duct taped his magazines together. So we've got the dual magazine. Next, we're gonna go into some of the perks. He's definitely gonna have a ballistic vest or a flak jacket on if he's standing guard. So I throw him a flak jacket. Peripherals, I think he's gonna be in contact with other guards around the Kremlin. They're gonna be like communicating about what they're seeing and stuff. So he's gonna have a better idea of what's all around him. Next, I put toughness, because obviously if you're going to be a guard, you got to be a tough guy. You got to be prepared for anything. So toughness is definitely a good perk for that. And scavenger, I figured none of these other ones really make a lot of sense, but scavenger, if he's already on guard duty, he's probably going to have lots of extra magazines on him just in case something does go down. He doesn't have an exo ability, because I figured if this guy's just on guard, they're not going to give him like a high-tech exo suit to be using while he's just standing guard. They're not going to be giving him anything fancy. He's just going to be chilling. He's going to be walking around, not really jumping or boosting or doing anything crazy. So he doesn't really need an exo ability. Next, I put on frag grenades, because they're pretty much the only option for this kind of character. So definitely frag grenades is probably the best bet for this guy. For my score streaks, I put on firstly the aerial recon drone. Even though I hate the aerial recon drone, it makes the most sense for this character. If there's a bunch of guards just standing around, one of them is probably going to have a drone, and they're going to be controlling that drone, flying it around and making sure that everything around the perimeter is okay and we're all safe. So aerial recon drone is definitely a good match for this class. I put on cloak because if someone is coming to infiltrate the base and they see that this aerial recon drone is kind of flying around, they're going to be like, oh, well, I'm not going to invade there anymore because that guy's going to spot me, or they're going to shoot it down or something. So if it's cloaked, they may not spot it right away. Next, I put on the UAV because if he notices anything, he can call in and get full sweep area analysis, and he can get this unmanned aerial vehicle to kind of fly around, just like the aerial recon drone. This one will just cover more ground, and it can just fly around and scan really quickly around the area and make sure that everything's okay, or if there is a guy there, it'll find them so they can go and capture him. I just put on speed because it's probably the smartest thing for the UAV. If he's just trying to spot somebody really quick, the speed will definitely help him spot that person. Lastly, I put on the remote turret in case this guy has to guard 2 areas at once. He can just slap down the turret and it can guard one area while he guards another area. So obviously sentry is the only option for that because it's the only way that the remote turret will control its own area. So that's pretty much the Kremlin Guard class. We're going to switch over to some gameplay in a second, and we'll see how to use this class and what the fun is in using a custom class, like a, what did I call it at the beginning of the video? Friggin' roleplay class. That's what it is. What the benefit is of using a roleplay class and how it can make the game a little bit more fun.
So here's a little bit of my gameplay of this exact class on the map Kremlin, where it should be, what it's made for, and it's definitely a really good class for protecting an objective. Even for camping, I hate to say it, but you can camp with this class very, very well. It's got all the grenades and the grenade launchers and all that kind of stuff, so you can really bottleneck an area or a spawn. You can make sure that enemies don't get out from where you want them to be. It's a really good class for that, just for protecting an area and keeping some place safe. Like I said, bottlenecking a spawn, not letting them get out of the spawn. But what it's really made for is to be a guard. You're supposed to go into an objective area and just guard it from the enemies. Another thing you can do when you get your aerial recon drone, you can just throw your recon drone up and let it go to work, and you can fly it around and give your teammates some ideas of where the enemy might be coming from. And it's just a really really good class for doing stuff like that, for being a legitimate guard, for getting surveillance and protecting an area. It's just made for that, and it just makes the game a lot more fun because you can actually really get into the role of playing like a guard. You can, even if you're so intent on being realistic, you can go into classic mode. Once the DLC maps make it into classic mode, you can go into that, and that's really what this is made for. Because in Cardinal of the Kremlin, you're not really, he doesn't have an exosuit. Obviously, it's not a futuristic kind of thing. It's more like it's more modern times. So he wouldn't be jumping and boosting around and all that stuff. So you could do that. There's also you could also play a specific game mode with this and with the Jack Ryan class, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in the Jack Ryan video. But for this video, really just be a real guard with this class and protect an area, and it just makes the game so much more fun. It's just like Elder Scrolls, when you actually take on a role, take on a lifestyle in Elder Scrolls, and you play a certain way. It just adds an entire new layer of depth to the game, and I definitely suggest you check it out. Make sure you try this class. It's a lot of fun. If you like this video, give it a like. Leave me a comment down below what other kind of classes you guys think could be made from this stuff in Advanced Warfare, and I'll see about making one. Add this video to your favorites, share it with all your friends, and of course, as usual, you gotta hit that big red subscribe button if you haven't already. This gameplay is almost done. It's just it's just a little bit of montage clips all kind of put together. This was like from 2 games. I got all this gameplay, so you could really just go into any game in Kremlin and just get some really cool gameplay with a class that actually belongs on the map. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you all on my next video. It might be my Jack Ryan video, it might be something else. We'll see in the future. So make sure you're staying tuned for whatever it might be, and I'll see you guys later.
Hardpoint contested.